Hi guys! What are we going to do today? Well, it's not quite Thanksgiving. Depending when you're watching this, it might be Thanksgiving. We're going to make these cute little turkeys. Gobble gobble. Let's get started. So this is the template I made for the turkey. So this is what you're going to get, and at the bottom of the video you can download this template. What you're going to do is you're going to print it onto whatever color paper you want your turkey to be. I wanted him on this brown craft paper. I hadn't copied him at the time, so all I did is use a piece of carbon paper and I just copied him on here. This is the fold line for the actual turkey. You're going to want this on a fold line. So what I'm going to do is take that straight line that I've drawn there, and I am going to fold right on that line. And what I'm going to do first is kind of cut around this. And we are going to cut him out. But before we get too crazy here, I'm going to show you that this wing you're going to cut 2 of. This one you're only going to cut 1 of. And this we're going to cut out of chipboard. So just remember that. We'll put that aside. And I am just going to cut him out. Just be sure not to cut through the fold. So it's almost easier just to cut around this outside edge to make all your feathers and then slit down the center of them so your pieces don't move while you're cutting. Now I'll slice in between these. And then the last part I'll do is go up in between his gobbler and his neck. Now I can see all these pencil lines, but I'm not too worried because I'm actually turning this the opposite way, so the pencil lines will be in the inside, so you won't notice them. Set him aside. And I know on this one I only need 1. This one right here, I'm going to want 2, so I'm just going to piece this together. So I have 2 layers and cut this out. So I have my turkey cut on a fold. I have 2 of these wings. I have 1 of the back wing. Now this part of the template I'm going to put on chipboard. This straight line is going to be my fold line. So what I'm going to do is I am going to fold this chipboard in half. That line is the fold line. You can either use some carbon paper, transfer it on there. I'll just trace this on here. Now I'm going to cut this out of the chipboard. So the front 2 wings, I want the longer ones. They are actually going to be in front. We had turkeys, and you notice they're big, huge wings. It seems weird, but the big ones would always drag on the ground, and they got shorter going up. This is the back. This will be the back tail feathers. So make sure your drawn lines are on the back. And then here is this here also. The only thing I'm going to not stamp is the neck and the face. I'm using my Pavo stamp, and that's one of my IOD stamps. You don't even have to stamp this. You could watercolor it on white paper. You could just leave it as is. You could find any stamp that has any sort of wispy lines that look like feathers. There are so many different options. You could use brown ink, colored ink, or black ink. I'm using black ink on this, and I am just going to start. I don't want the circle from the peacock feather. I just want the graininess of the feather on there, so I'm just going to stamp that on the front of here. And there are a lot of different sizes in this Pavo stamp. I decided I'm just going to go with this big one and let the lines kind of show through on each of the feathers and give it just a little bit of extra added dimension to it. So those two ones, we're going to be facing down. This feather will be standing up. I'm going to mask off his head with this piece of paper here. So mask that side off and do this side of him. We are going to attach this chipboard to our body. You would think the fold line is going right here in the center, but it's not in between the head. It's actually going at an angle. So here's the fold line, and here's the first dip that's been cut. Where that first dip has been cut is where it's going to go, right here on his chest. So I am just going to glue stick this in. So the open cut edge is there, and the straight edge is going behind his neck, going up towards the feathers. Glue stick the face also while you're glue sticking this on here. Then we'll fold this over. And then you can see how he opens up. So the head's stuck together and the neck's stuck together, and you have like a V right here. So it doesn't completely open up, but it opens up to a V. So if you want to distress your turkey or do anything else, this is a good time to do this. I'm just using my Vintage Photo Distress Oxide. And you could actually just do this before you even put it together. So what I'm going to do is right at the bottom of the claws, I'm going to fold those 2 feet up. Antique these guys before I get them on. Now you could decide if you want to curl these up. If you do, remember it's just paper, so you want to be very careful. And same with these feathers if you want to. If you want to just leave them, leave them. Be very gentle though, or otherwise you will just rip them. And also when I seal this, it's going to help curl it also. So I'm just doing a little bit here. So here are my 2 feathers. Here are the long ends, and I'm going to put the long end facing towards the front. So I am just going to use a little, you could use a piece of double stick tape or a glue stick, and I'm just putting them right here, just below his neck. And I'm going to attach just the top edge right here. And then on the other side, I'll do the same thing. They don't need to be perfect there. Got those 2 wings. And then on the inside, I am going to take this piece and I'm kind of going to roll it. Just like, not quite bend it, but roll it. And I'm going to attach it right in here and right in here. And I want it to come up just a little bit taller than these feathers here. And it'll be right about at the chipboard paper line. So you'll see some of the feathers and some of the chipboard. So if I attach it right there, they'll stick up just a tad bit more. So I'm kind of bending that in. I put glue on the front. Actually attaching it right here onto these 2 sides. So I didn't quite bend it in half, I just kind of curled it. So you may have a little gap. It doesn't need to be tight. It can be loose here. But you just want to attach these 2 ends to the inside. A little bit of a gap right here in the front. So I'm just going to use this watercolor marker, but you don't need to. You could color it with crayon, with paint, or not color it at all. And I am just going to color his little gobbler. And I will just do 2 little dots for eyes. One there. One there. So I'm going to seal this, and I'm just using my Minwax polyacrylic crystal clear, but you can use any sealer you would like. And this is a good time if you want to bend wings up. And right here where this cut is, I kind of bent that back just a little. So I am just going to seal this. It's going to move my oxide, but also the wetness will actually make this curl a bit. Now you don't want to glue your piece together, so you need to make sure you've kind of lifted your pieces up. And you can see as I do that, it's going to help hold it. I'm just going to seal all his parts and pieces. See how they even start curling in. Move these guys forward a little so they don't get stuck to my back tail feathers. And you can see when you get this wet, even it helps it to curl a bit too. I'm going to let him dry standing up. And we are going to move on to the base. So I'm just going to take this little piece of chipboard, and you don't need to do this. I decided it made a really nice stand, and you could even make it a lot smaller. And I'm just putting some decoupage medium on here. And I'm going to put a piece of my ticking paper on here, but you can use whatever you would like. I'm just going to seal the top of this. Let this dry, trim it up a little bit, see where we want to put our turkey. I just had a cute little stamp. You could print anything off of a computer. You could use it as a name placeholder, whatever you would like. You can see how the feathers have curled more as they've dried. So I'm just going to attach him to this board, about right there, and then we're going to hold our sign in front. You could use a heavy double stick tape, you could use a glue stick, whatever you would like. And if you would like a sign, you can add a sign in here anywhere you would like, or just use him as is. You can make your little board longer, shorter. But I hope this gives you an idea. Depending on the colors and the things you do, each one could look different.
I thought this was fun and easy. What fun little project you could make for Thanksgiving or any fall festival. Below the video in the description, there's a link to the template for these fun turkeys. Hope you guys give this a try, but whatever you do, have fun.